Let's take stock of what's happening with the wedding market and whether or not, with this recent scare of the Omicron variant, is the wedding demand still intact? We have with us the founder and CEO at matrimony.com, Murugavel Janakiraman, joining in on the show right now. Mr. Janakiraman, great to have you on the show. Good morning, firstly. Just wanted to understand, because in our from what we're hearing, the wedding season is on in full throng. We know about large weddings which are taking place. A lot of spending as well is now, going down, given that the last 2 years were a bit of a lull and we had very, very small, intimate kind of weddings. But given this new scare of the COVID variant, are you seeing any panic calls? While your business would not really, cater to such kind of, insecurities or threats in that sense, but just wanted to understand whether demand is intact and whether we continue to hold out the thrust as one has seen, all through the pandemic.
First of all, good morning and thanks for having me. As you rightly said, matchmaking will not have any impact. And so far, we are not seeing any threat with respect to the wave 3. So the new virus has been reported, but I think so far no case has been reported in India, but everyone is watchful of the emerging situation. But the current situation is such that weddings are going on a full throttle and we are not seeing any slowdown. If at all any cases gets reported, then there is a possibility of people getting into some kind of concern that what happened in the past, where people booked the wedding date and there was restriction on how many people can attend the wedding. But as we speak, things are fine and we are not seeing any slowdown or any concerns. But you have to wait and watch how the situation is going to emerge. It all depends on the impact of the new virus and what kind of impact it's going to have on the infections or how the spread's going to be. But at this point of time, things are fine and it's more of wait and watch. But so far, so good, yeah.
Okay, matchmaking continues to be intact, but I guess where your business would get impacted is your website, mandap.com, which does cater to banquet halls as well as, wedding venue bookings as well. Is that demand going on intact, or are you getting some panic calls or inquiries with regards to now this new variant and what the protocols from the various state governments are going to be?
Yeah, no, as you speak that, in fact, the demand actually has been on the rise because, the wedding season started in North India, also in South India in January. Currently, there's the wedding season and post-January, once again, the wedding season starts and people book venues in advance. So, in fact, we've seen the increase in demands on the Mandap website. But again, at this point of time, we are not seeing any concerns, but it all depends on how the situation is going to unfold. But again, at this point of time, we are not seeing any slowdown. We only see the increase in the number of inquiries.
You are a platform company which gives business and is catering to a large matrimony space in India. Your profit making. If I look at Zomato, if I look at the valuations of other internet startups and unicorns, you're nowhere close to what the trend right now is. Why is that?
That's a good question to ask. And we have been in the business for more than 2 decades, and we are very frugal on the capital. In fact, the entire fundraise for the company was $20 million. That's a capital what you raised, and built a very profitable company and a sustained and a profitable company. And at this point of time, the trend towards high growth and people seem to be okay with the loss-making companies, even just only the growth. So what we are trying to balance is that while I understand the last the 5 quarters we had that sort of double-digit growth, but the growth definitely need to get better. We are working towards accelerating on growth. And again, the thing today is the market in favor of high growth and loss, something that people are not really worried about. But the way you are looking at is, you want to definitely get into high growth compared to the double-digit growth, what are having a 10+% growth. You want to move to a 15% growth, 20% growth, and also continue to drive the on the profit as well. We see our EBITDA margin on the matchmaking and continue to move up. our gross margin is almost 66%. So matchmaking has a strong operating leverage, and in spite of huge competition, we're able to drive the growth, we're able to increase EBITDA margin, we're able to drive the PAT. But what you're looking at now, market seems to be looking at high growth, but again, we hope that you'll be able to get into a better growth in the coming quarters. But the one thing is that the profitability is important. But I've seen various cycles in the last 20 years, and but at this point of time, things are largely in favor of growth. But we are looking at both profitable and getting into the better growth. I think that's where you are looking at things. That's where you want to drive your business. And I'm sure when things move up and you get a valuation, but we're here for long term, and eventually we believe that things will turn out.
I see the online market being split in 3 players. You have the largest market share, then there is Shadi, and then there is Jeevan Sathi. How do you see the landscape changing? Do you see a big M&A happening? Because if I look at the financials for the other two, which are competitors, the financials are not as solid as yours. So it's a matter of time. Do you think one player will acquire another player?
No, I think it's better that happens, because we have a larger market share. We almost have close to 60% market share in the matchmaking business. Even look at the growth. We are the only players seem to be growing well, and continue to widen the gaps. And that's the only operating business what you have, the matrimony business. And not only matchmaking in India, we're also expanding to other countries, also expanding wedding services. I think that possibly it may happen, but nevertheless, when some acquisition doesn't happen, we continue to drive our growth and continue to drive the EBITDA margin. But if there is any opportunity to acquire companies, we definitely look at it, because and this space is something like not that easy, because we need to have a strong network effect to drive the growth. It's not just marketing alone able to drive the growth. And the good thing that most of the market, you have a strong network effect. The brands are well entrenched in the market and sort of household name. And that being the case, very difficult for someone to kind of penetrate just by spending money on marketing. I think that's something we are seeing in that market. It's because of strong execution focus, and we are able to drive the growth. We're able to drive that, also come up with new initiatives to increase our top line further. I think there's a possibility of maybe some M&A happening in the future, but nevertheless, even if it doesn't happen, we continue to focus on our growth plans, and the way we see our outlook for matchmaking business is very good. In fact, we expect from Q4 onwards, the growth can probably move to much better than the 10% growth what we are having, because we have launched new initiatives. We also expanded newer countries, and all these factors we believe that will help us to move to a sort of probably 15% growth or maybe much higher growth. So we believe that we can continue able to drive that growth and continue to widen the gap between us and other players in this space. But we look for some opportunity to do M&A, and even otherwise we'll be okay with our growth.
Sure, interesting. So since you are open to acquisitions, just wanted to understand whether there are any specific businesses that you're targeting. How exactly are you going to grow further? I understood the numbers that you just gave us, but what's the plan of action to reach those growth numbers is what we're trying to understand here.
Yeah, so a couple of things. One is that we continue to look at driving our core matchmaking business within India. Look at the core matchmaking business. You have an online business and the personalized business. The online business includes bharatmatrimony.com, and you have a 300 plus community-based matrimony sites. We continue to look at driving that core online business, and you have personalized services, assisted matchmaking, and also elite matrimony. We see definitely good growth in the personalized services. Those businesses are growing at a much better than the 10% growth, because we see the enormous opportunity in this personalized services business. This is the India story. We are also looking at the other countries. We have launched Bangladesh operations, and we are looking at setting up operations in Sri Lanka. That's happening. As we speak, we already got our company incorporated. We plan to set up operations in Sri Lanka probably Q4. Plus, we have muslimmatch.com. Plus, recently we launched Jodi, an exclusive matchmaking app for the common people. Today, the existing matrimony services are catering to the by and large English-speaking population and the degree holders. The common population, which is I'm talking about, the people who are 10th standard, 12th standard, or people who have not even gone to the college. And in order for those people to use the matchmaking services, there is a challenge. While the app called Jodi, Jodi, The new app launched in the Tamil Nadu market. It's a test market. We want to understand what is the adoption of the people who can, who are not degree holders, and we want to understand how they're able to adopt this Jodi app, which is complete in the Tamil language. We want to see the adoption, and we want to make it successful before we want to take it to other markets. I understand the opportunity, but however, it's still in the very nascent stage. Basically, as an organization, we continue to experiment, continue to figure out new opportunity. See, as a company, we are not only pioneered online matchmaking in India, we pioneered personalized matchmaking service, elite matrimony service. Now we are looking at this vernacular as an Indic language and opportunity. But again, it's too early, and it's a complete different segment. And you want to see whether you could be able to make it successful in one market, and then before you decide to get into other markets. But what I'm trying to say is that we are looking at various avenues to grow in the matchmaking space. I'm sure this combination of all these initiatives will help us to move to the better growth from the Q4 or onwards. Plus, it's the matchmaking side. Plus, wedding services, we definitely see a good opportunity. We may know that we bought Shadi Saga is one of the players in this space. We are integrating Shadi Saga into wedding services. We definitely see wedding services growing at a triple digit. You may know that as an opportunity, it's very big. However, we are still in the very nascent stage. But we believe that this business is going to grow at a triple digit basis on year-on-year basis for a long time to come. We definitely see the opportunity wedding service as well. So combination of the new avenues which are exploring the matchmaking space and the wedding services, we definitely see as an organization getting into a stronger growth from the coming quarters onwards.
Okay, great to have you on the show today, Mr. Janakiraman, and speak with us that candidly on how business is and how it's likely to be going forward.
Thank you so much.